You're listening to an NRCH podcast. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we're recording this podcast, and I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening today. Today I talked to Khanh, who found refuge in Australia. In this episode, Khanh talks about his refugee journey, and he talks about the challenges faced during his transition to Australia and the opportunities that have enriched his life. I also went to the Refugee Week event at the Twilight Market, which is held by the factory in Richmond, and I spoke to some of the attendees who shared some of their stories, highlighting the resilience of the refugee community and the meaning of freedom and how it evolves through their personal experiences. Let's do it.
My name is Khanh. I'm Vietnamese.
So can you tell us about your journey to find freedom and what made you leave your home country to come to Australia?
My family is in Vietnam before 1974. They served in the army. And when the Saigon it fall, the communist took over. So my parents can't live with the communists. So they try to save money and then send us to the freedom country, like get a better life.
How old were you?
Pretty small. I can't remember. I go with my sister. My sister carried me on the boat.
And how has your idea of freedom changed since you became a refugee? Do you remember much about your sense of freedom before and after you came to Australia?
Freedom is meant to me in Vietnam. My parents served in the army. And for those children, they can't go to school. They can't do a lot of things in Vietnam. And come here, have freedom. I can do everything, like go to school, get better life, and get working and support my family back in Vietnam.
So supporting your family is a sense of freedom for you?
Yes.
Did you have any difficulties when you moved to Melbourne? And how did you overcome the challenges to start feeling free in your new home?
The difficult thing to come to Australia is first is the language. It's a bit struggling with language, English. I have to learn hard. Want to get things better, so I have to go to school, but I didn't. I have to go work and earn some money and support my family.
You weren't able to go to school?
I dropped out at year 10. And me and my sister go to work and save money, send back Vietnam because my mom, I got few brothers still in Vietnam, so we have to send money back there and support them.
Are there any special experiences or opportunities that have made your life better since you arrived here?
For me, it's go to school and then study hard, but I didn't. And go work and earn a lot of money and then support my family. That's all about.
And is your family your parents are still in Vietnam?
No, my parents. We sponsor my mom, my brother, and all that in 1998. They all come here. And have a better life and freedom. From my opinion, I've been here and a lot of people, local people, help me, food and all that.
If people offer support, that's very helpful for you.
Support, all the service, be helpful for the people that arrive here, refugee. It's difficult for them to find work or anything, living.
Help finding work, going to the doctor.
Something like that. That's the most important thing. And
what about your parents? What was the challenge for them when they arrived here?
No, my parents, they not working, but they happy. They been here, they better life freedom. Can speak up whatever they want. Not in Vietnam, live in this community. You can't do that. yeah, my parents really happy and really appreciate people in it.
That's a good one. You have freedom to say what you want.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they really appreciate people and the government and like people like you give me the opportunity share my little story about refugee.
I was curious about your parents because they worked hard to raise you in Australia and it wasn't their home country. So I imagine it was difficult for them to bring you over here as a little kid and look after. Was it your sister?
My sister.
Your sister, yeah. They did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here we are at the Twilight Market in Richmond, the Refugee Week Twilight Market. What's your name?
Amir.
Amir.
Yeah, Amir, I go. Yeah. You're very good. Australia, you know, walking. You got the food. You got the housing. You sleep well. Yeah. Thank you very much. I like Australia. Yeah. About for my country, before very hard, people very bad. I tell you now, my grandchildren too, in Khartoum. And now every day I cry. What can I have got in my grandchildren? Yeah. Australia to help people. Yeah, Australia very good to help people. In my country, no. People too much die. Some people, you don't have food. No food, time, no water. Yeah, it's different. Australia very good.
What's your home country?
Yeah, my country, Sudan. For my grandchildren, I think a lot now about my grandchildren, in Khartoum. And my daughter in my country, she South Sudan. The children separate. Now I think a lot. Fighting too much, she Khartoum. Yeah, every day, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, very hard. Australia, very good. I like Australia. Yeah, Australia, know you go through. Yeah, with this one, freedom. Don't walking, you will eat. You will got house. Government is pay. Centralling is pay. It's very good. Thank you very much. You help me.
All right. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Quich Johnson.
And you're a refugee?
Yes, I am.
At what age did you arrive in Australia?
I was 3.5 years old. Yeah.
And what's something that you think that people who are born and raised in Australia just don't get about being a refugee? Is there something you can think of?
Maybe it's like the challenges of trying to adapt to like a new country and trying to learn a new language. Maybe people don't realize how hard it is. I think just maybe not having enough like resources, like so maybe not being able to cater to like certain ethnic groups. Like there's not really any translations for my language here in Australia.
What's your first language?
My first language is Nuer, which is a Sudanese language. And I also spoke a bit of Swahili when our family moved to Kenya.
When you came into Australia, was there a good refugee community around?
I'd say so, because I had like a lot of like cousins and family that were already living in Australia. So when we moved here, there was like a big welcome and they helped us settle in.
What's your favourite thing about Refugee Week?
Just getting to hear all the stories about what it was like for people back home and what it's like growing up in Australia. Yeah.
Special thanks to Khanh and our guests who told their stories today, which really illustrate how we can create an inclusive society where everyone has the opportunity to find the freedom that they deserve. Thanks for listening and see you next time.